Is the PTDF scholarship worth it? How much were you paid? Do I have to come back? What courses can I study? Let us have this conversation and then we can decide if the PTDF scholarship is worth it together. Welcome back to my channel, guys. My name is Veronica and I especially welcome all of my old subscribers back to another interesting video. I also welcome my potential subscribers. If you're watching my video for the first time, you are absolutely welcome. This is a channel where I talk about everything self-development, finance, and my lifestyle in general. The only goal is to make sure that we always learn, we always grow, and we always ensure that we're living life to a full potential. If you're yet to subscribe, kindly click the subscribe button below. Make sure to share my videos, engage with me, give me a thumbs up so that my videos can reach the target audience for which it was created for. Let us delve into today's video as I answer all of your questions. Welcome back, guys. My name is Veronica and the aim of this video is to determine together if the PTDF scholarship is worth it. I have noted down some of your questions and I'm going to be starting from there. I will answer these questions and then I'll tell you some of the benefits that are derived from being a PTDF scholar, and we will decide and answer the major question together at the end of this video. The first question I have is, which countries can I go and how do I combine them in my application? So to answer that question, I'll say currently the PTDF scholarship body is sponsoring students for MSc and PhD degrees. Your MSc would range from 1 year and sometimes 2 years depending on your agreement with the body, and for PhD it can be up to 3 to 4 years. For the countries that you can go to is usually between the United Kingdom, Malaysia, Germany, and France. In the past, China was on the list, but probably due to coronavirus or just based on their own discretion, they decided to take out China. So it's possible that later in the future it will come back. When you are applying, you have 3 options to pick from. That's a choice of country. Also, you have 3 options for schools and 3 options for your courses. While applying, if you decide to go for the United Kingdom, you are only allowed to pick the United Kingdom as your 3 choice of country. That means that you cannot combine any other country with the United Kingdom. So if you pick United Kingdom as your first choice, it has to be your second and third choice as well. But if you're going with the other 3 countries, which are Germany, Malaysia, and France, you can combine them. You can say Germany is your first, Malaysia is your second, France is your third, or you can pick Germany, France. You can actually decide to be flexible about them. So that's how you can combine the countries. UK is just UK. So if you're going to UK, that's the only choice you have. But if you want to go to the other countries, you can combine them. I hope this answers your question or questions. The next question I have is, can I put out another application even after I've applied last year or before? And my simple answer is yes. If you have applied before now, you are allowed to apply again in another application set. So currently the PTDF scholarship for 2024/2025 session is ongoing and the deadline is on March 18th, which is less than 1 month now. So if you have not started your application, this is the best time to start. If you've also started, keep up with the pace, try to put your application together, make it good, make it very impressive, and try to finish up before the deadline. I am going to be putting the link for the application in the description box below so that you can easily go there to apply if you have not already started. So if you've applied before, feel free to apply again. It's okay to apply. Another question I have is, can I start applying to schools and for admission even before I put out my PTDF scholarship application? The answer is yes. It's not compulsory though, because right now you do not really need to have secured an admission. So if you want to complete your scholarship application first, that is okay. Complete it by March 18th, put it out and then focus on your admission. But if you want to run it simultaneously, that's also fine. Just make sure that one does not affect the other, because the major priority now is the scholarship, which has a deadline for March 18th. But if you are able to combine the application for your schools, you have all the requirements, you meet all the criteria, you have all your documents, it's fine, go ahead with that. But the time that you're expected to have secured an admission is at the time when you are declared to now become a scholar. So it's not a requirement to come to the interview and to have secured an admission, but that period is still okay to start applying. And if you secured one, good for you. As long as it's with the partner schools of PTDF, then that's okay. So feel free, do what works for you, but make sure that you're focusing on your application right now because it has a deadline. So I hope that answers your question. The next question I have is that someone said, I find it hard to verify my NIN and I have some issues with the application. So what I'll say is that when you create your account and try to verify your NIN, which would be the first thing that you're required to do not be in a hurry. If it brings up an error message, take your time to log out and log in again, or try during a period that is not the peak period where several people are also applying. I advise that you try to refresh, use a good network as well. If you have paid already for your NIN verification, do not pay again. So if you're able to refresh and you get your application back on track, then that's fine. But if not, reach out to PTDF. They have contact details on the application. Look for their email, look for their number, reach out to them, and they should be able to resolve it for you. Any other application error that you have as well, if after you have refreshed a number of times and it's still the same, please reach out to PTDF. It shouldn't discourage you from applying. After you resolve it, I believe that it should be free of hassle and you should be able to go ahead to apply without stress. The next question I have is, I do not have enough experience or certification in the oil and gas industry. Can I still apply? My answer would always be yes, and this is why. How do you define enough? How do you know that what you have is not enough, right? If you have or you meet all of the eligibility criteria that the PTDF has stated, which are to be a Nigerian citizen, number 2 is to have your O-levels, to have your first degree with grade no lesser than 2-1, to have your NYC certificate, and to have your local government identification certificate, then I feel that you are eligible to apply. Every other experience or certification is an addition which would improve your score, and it doesn't mean that if you do not have them, you cannot still get the scholarship. If you have them, it is a bonus, right? Also, if you have them, do not think that because you have 1 year experience or 2 years experience, it's not enough. You cannot determine what is enough. You can determine the kind of candidates that you are competing with. And another thing I would mention is that even though it's a national scholarship, you are most likely competing with people from your state. The score will be compared with those in your state. And if you meet up to the number of people they want in your state, you will be selected. So you cannot determine what is enough. Apply and try. And then if you do not get it, you can then see how you can improve on yourself before the next application cohort. But there is nothing bad in trying. So I hope this encourages you. Put out your application, try to be as expressive and as concise as possible. Apart from every other certificate that I mentioned, you will also be required to put together a statement of purpose or a personal statement. I have a video about that and I'm going to be linking it up somewhere on the screen. Also, I have another video where I talked about my full PTDF story, and I believe that these videos will help you. I'll link it up. Make sure that you watch it. It will also be in the description box below. Watch it, and if you have any other questions, put it in the comment section below, and if I need to make another video, I will make it answering all your questions. But if not, I'll just respond to you personally. Now let's move on to the most asked questions that I get about the PTDF scholarship. And the very first one is, how much were you paid? A lot of people just want to know how much, what is the benefit, what do I stand to gain? I understand. Most times my answer to that question is that things change, and it's just better for you to wait till you've gotten the scholarship to know what they'll be giving to you or paying to you as stipend. But it's fine. I'm just going to tell you what I was paid or what I gained from the scholarship. Expect that anything can change. My own cohort or my own session of the PTDF scholarship was the 2022/2023 session, and this is now the third set after that. There was a set in 2023/2024, and this is the 2024/2025 session. So do not expect that everything will remain the same, but what I'm giving you now will just be as a guide, and it's personal to me and to my own set. So the benefits I was able to gain: I had my tuition fully paid, I had my visa fully paid for, I had my international flights. And I say international flights because before I left my own country, there was some local transportation that I had to do, but were for the processing of my visa application, going for biometrics. All of that was not covered. It was only covered by me. And there was some other extra visa payment I had to make just to fasten the process. It was covered by me. Everything that was covered by PTDF was just the basic visa fee, the international flights to the country where I was going, and then my living allowance. The living allowance would include a payment that will cover both accommodation and living expenses. So it's a full payment. Don't expect that accommodation will be sorted out for you. The PTDF will not look for accommodation for you. They'll only pay you an amount, and you will use that amount to source for your accommodation. So the amount will be paid biannually. Because I had a 1-year master's, the payment came in twice. So because it's 1 year, biannually will be every 6 months. The first batch of payment and the second batch of payment. And every month I was entitled to about £1,150 per month. For PhD, it will be around £1,550 per month. I'm not sure for the other countries like Germany, France, and Malaysia, but for the UK, that was the amount that was paid, and it covers accommodation and living expenses. So I hope that answers this mostly asked question, but expect it to change because change is constant, right? So I hope this answers the question of how much I was paid, because I get it a lot, even from the last set that applied for the PTDF scholarship. People that have not even gotten the scholarship keep asking, I don't know why you want to have that information now. Just in case it's because you want to use it to make informed decision, weigh your options. You probably have different scholarship options and you want to decide which one pays me, which one doesn't pay me. That's the amount that I was paid, £1,150 per month biannually. That means that 1,150 times 6 comes in first, but not immediately. Watch my previous video to understand when I was paid, how long it took. I have another video. If I'm able to find it, I'll link it as well. And the last tranche of 6 months payment comes later. So for PhD, I do not have so much information, but I know that it would be up to about £1,550 per month. Again, if you eventually find that this information is different from what you are being given or being paid, it means that things have changed, so do not be surprised. Let's move on to the next question. What course can I study, and does it have to be directly related to the oil and gas industry? To answer the question, I always tell people that I studied finance and it's not directly linked to the oil and gas industry. It's not in engineering. It's not a STEM course. People would usually think that the only priority for PTDF is the STEM courses, that's sciences, technology, engineering, and mathematics. But it's not true. As long as you're able to relate your course to oil and gas industry, how do they align? How do they impact each other? Finance is everything. Data is everything. Like, there is no industry that would not need data. There's no industry that does not require someone to be in charge of how to manage their finance, how to raise finance, or how to account for their expenses and their income. If you're able to just prove that relationship between oil and gas industry and the course that you want to study, then it's okay to apply. Do not only think that it's only those in the STEM courses that can apply. Also, if you have a course that is not totally related to the oil and gas industry, or maybe the course is not listed amongst the courses that the partner school of the PTDF scholarship are offering, because at some point you will be asked to pick your course, your choice of school, your choice of course. Sometimes the courses are limited. Then pick the one that is a bit related or closely related to your own course, and it is very possible that you will be able to change it later, probably at the point of your admission or at the point where you've gotten the scholarship. So do not be worried if you are applying now and you want to choose the course. Do not be discouraged if you do not find your course on the list based on the school that you have picked. Just pick something related. For example, when I was applying, I picked something around big data, data analytics, even when I knew I was going to apply for finance. So by the time I got the scholarship and I was now looking to get an admission, I then chose finance, and it was okay because I had already shown the relationship between both big data, and finance in my personal statement. So try to watch that video on personal statement. You would understand more how I was able to relate my courses and then the paragraphs that I broke my personal statement into to make it very presentable and convincing. So watch that video and write a strong personal statement. And I hope that answers your question on course, right? So do not be discouraged. It's not just STEM courses that the PTDF sponsors. It sponsors every other courses. As long as in a way or another, you're able to prove how this course would impact the oil and gas industry, then you are okay to apply. Okay, so I hope that answers that question. And I have one last question, and this question is one that I get all the time. I think it is the next to how much are you paid question, or it's probably the one before it. Those two go hand in hand. But the question would be, do I have to come back to my own country after the PTDF scholarship? Now, this question, the outright answer is yes. And I've said this already in the video I made about my PTDF scholarship story. The outright answer is yes, you are to come back. But the PTDF has been liberal enough to now make it easier for people that still want to stay back in the countries that they have gone to. And I know most especially for the UK, I do not know much for Germany, Malaysia, France, or China. I know for the UK that if you are able to meet the terms and conditions that the PTDF will give to you so that you can stay back, then you can stay back. And one of them is to secure a job or secure an opportunity for PhD. That is, you have an offer letter for a job, or you have an admission letter for PhD or a higher school of learning, and then you can request from PTDF to stay back, and they'll give you a letter. The letter is a letter of no objection. That letter will be able to allow you to apply to stay back. So that is the condition. But if not, if you're not able to meet those conditions, then you have to go back. So I advise you to have the end in mind. I always say this in my video when I talk about my school, when I talk about my international study experience, I always mention it. Now, when you come to the UK, always have the end in mind, especially if you're studying for a master's degree. It's very short. Have the end in mind. If you want to stay back, then you must be ready to be able to secure something, either in terms of admission or a job, so that you are able to stay back. But if you do not want to, it's fine. After your study, you're free to then go back. The outright answer is yes, but it is based on terms and conditions. I hope this answers your question. So thank you so much. These are the questions I have. If you have any other questions, please ask me. If it is a number of them, I can make another video. But if not, I'll just answer to you directly in the comment section or through any of my contacts that I would have linked in the description box below. Now, the final part of this video is to now tell you the benefits that I got from the PTDF scholarship, and then we can decide if it was worth it or not, right? Let's go into it. The first benefit that I got from being a PTDF scholar is that the scholarship selection was based on merit. I didn't have to know anyone. I didn't have to pay anyone. I didn't have to lobby my way into getting the scholarship. All I did was to apply. And when I applied, if you've watched my PTDF video, you know that it was a bit difficult for me because I didn't have the local government identification certificate, so I had to get it. So it slowed my application down, and by the time I was rushing to put my application together, it was already deadline. That means it was already 12 a.m. of deadline day, but that did not stop me. I still tried to put in my application about 1 hour or a few minutes after the deadline, and as long as I saw that it went, I just left it, and that was the end. I wasn't very sure if I'll be gotten back to, but I was kind of lucky to have gotten the call for interview. So this is me telling you that do not wait till the end, but if by any chance you are still not able to meet the deadline, as long as the application still says, thank you for applying, we've gotten your application and we'll get back to you soon, then it is fine. So do not stop as well. If for any reason you are unable to send in your application, just immediately at the deadline, do that fast and still put in your application. But please do not wait to the deadline and make sure that you send in your application. But what I enjoyed is that it was based on merit. I was called for interview. I went for my interview and I got the call. So you do not have to know anyone. Number two thing that I benefited from the PTDF scholarship is that I got the opportunity to study for free. Like I mentioned, my tuition was for free, and every other benefit that I mentioned as well, I got the opportunity to enjoy that. And that is just amazing, right? The number three thing that I gained or benefited from the PTDF scholarship is that it is an easy application process. Like I've mentioned, it doesn't require you to write a lot of essays. All you need is a statement of purpose or personal statement. So you have to make sure that the statement of purpose is very strong, very convincing, and then have all the required documents that was asked for or that was required of you. Make sure that you put together a strong application process. It's an easy one. As long as you go through that process, then you are fine. The next one, which is the fourth one, is that the PTDF scholarship gave me the option or opportunity to be able to stay back with the terms and conditions that I've mentioned earlier. So it's not outright that you have to go back to your own country. There are some other scholarship bodies that are like that as soon as you're done with your study, you have to come back, which is very understandable. But the PTDF is liberal enough to give you that option. If you know that you want to stay back, then meet this condition. But if not, then you have to go back. And I think that is very fair enough because they've given us that option. And it's one thing that I love about the PTDF scholarship. Then the fifth thing, which is the last thing I'll mention, because I'm sure that you would have picked so many other things from this video, and I do not want to make this video too long. The last thing will be that there is a community of scholars that you have access to. And these people are there to guide you, to encourage you, to network with you, to allow you settle in when you come in, especially based on each school. So I went to Ife-Olaitan University. I had the opportunity to be connected to the group or community of the school, and I was able to meet few friends that really helped me to settle in, really helped me to know the things I needed to know as a newbie in a new country. So it's a good opportunity. In fact, I've answered your question, but if you're asking that is the PTDF scholarship worth it, all of this explanation, all of these benefits that I've stated is enough answer to tell you that it's worth it to try. So give it your best. Apply, ask me questions if you have to, but please, if your questions I've already answered, don't ask me again, because that's why I take my time to put out these videos so that a lot of people can benefit from it at once when I record. So please make sure that you watch all of my videos, and if there are any questions I've not answered, reach out to me and I'll answer them. If I have to do another video, I will also try to put in your questions immediately as soon as you see the video, so that it can be part of the questions I will pick, right? So thank you so much if you watch this end. I really hope that this video clears your doubts or answers your question about the PTDF scholarship. If you're applying, I wish you the very best. I want to encourage you to click the subscribe button, give me a thumbs up as well. It will really encourage me, because I put in so much effort to put out this video, and I really want that support, that encouragement. I want to know that people find this valuable. You can also drop me a comment, tell me what you've learned, tell me how you found this video valuable, and that would just be it for me. If you have any other video idea for me as well, this is the time to also mention it in the comment section, and you might just be lucky that I pick that up and make a video for you in the coming weeks. So thank you so much, I appreciate you, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye guys.